We're coming to you from the Mumbai Cloud and Data Center Convention and Awards 2024, and joining me now is a very special guest, Mr. Kalyan Mupineni from Pi Data Centers. So let's start with what drew you into this field, what made you build something from the ground up like Pi, and what has been your journey like so far?
So I've been a technologist all my life, closing on 30 now, 29 years actually to be precise. I was in US for 20 years. Out of those 20, I was with Intel Corporation for about 15 years as a chief architect. I was implementing large-scale complex systems at Intel. That's where my passion for data centers and cloud have originally started. And being back from India originally, I always wanted to do something that didn't exist before in India. So Pi is now 10 years since I founded the company back in 2014. So we had our piece of ride, and I think right now we have reached a stage where the ecosystem cannot be perfect for a data center to build and grow data centers in the country. So that's how I originally started, given my background with Intel, moving back to India after 20 years in US, and built our first data center in Andhra Pradesh, Amravati. Then we have a disaster facility in Kochi, and we are headquartered out of Hyderabad, and we are planning to expand into other locations. Now, as far as Pi goes, in addition to just offering data center infrastructure co-location, we also offer cloud. So we have serviced over 500 companies or customers who host their mission critical operations on our cloud platform today. And as part of that, we also rolled out a new AI cloud during the last 1 year, because that's where the industry is going.
I'm glad you brought up AI, because a lot of people want to jump on the AI bandwagon, but do you really think they know what to do with it? I sometimes get that headless chicken kind of feeling. How do you think we are approaching AI? What are we doing right and what are we doing wrong?
See, AI is a very big subject. Everybody wants to join the bandwagon. Everybody wants to put AI in front of everything. But I think you need to understand first what you're doing. What problem are you solving? I think you don't want to put AI in front of something without knowing what problem you are solving. So that's the problem. Now, even when some people have some clarity, they do not understand where to start, how to start, what kind of investments to make, what kind of IT budgets that they need to allocate during a given financial year. So people are still playing with that quite a bit. But AI is real, for sure. AI is real. I think it's a journey. It's not just something that everybody implements in the next 12 or 24 months. I think it's an evolution for the next 10 years, just like how cloud kind of took off over the last 10, 15 years, right? When cloud was, was not there about 15 years back. But today, everybody is on cloud. So I think AI, although the cycle will be a little faster compared to cloud journey, but I think it's still like a 5 to 10 year journey before people get a hang of it. Now, but the readiness is extremely important, and understanding is extremely important. What are the use cases? What are the models that we would want to implement? What business problem will that AI implementation solve you? Will you have a return on investment?
Exactly.
By doing that? So these are extremely important questions that they need to ask themselves and get some guidance.
I'm glad you brought up investments, because every day you're hearing billion-dollar investments into AI. What are they doing with it?
So it's, people throw out these numbers, but I think, in the data center industry, there are...
What would you do with AI? Let's put it that way.
Yeah. So what we do is, for us, we solve customer problems. We are a data center operator. We build data centers, and we have a cloud platform. So what we do is we solve customer problems. So somebody today, if they say that, okay, I have this business problem, can you guide me on how to solve this? So we would sit with them, understand their requirements, what kind of, first, we have a framework for AI. We would actually walk them through that framework to understand their requirements. And then from an infrastructure perspective, what kind of infrastructure they need, what kind of load they need, what kind of budgets they have, how many phases can it be broken down into, So GPU, like for example, you need a GPU cloud
Yeah.
and you need a traditional cloud, and you need to bring that together to be able to implement together. So I think you need to put all of these pieces together. So we help them with putting the puzzle together and then actually implement the cloud, AI cloud for them.
There is another implication of AI, and that is on how we are choosing to cool our data centers. And there is an increasing interest in liquid cooling. What are your thoughts on liquid cooling?
See, I was talking earlier in the conference, but see, 10 years from now, I feel that air cooling will become not completely irrelevant, but in a way irrelevant, because we need new forms of cooling. Because each rack in a data center, we are already talking about, people are talking about 50 kilowatts and 100 kilowatts per rack.
200.
200. So that kind of density, it's extremely difficult to cool with air cooling. It's not possible. So liquid cooling has to come into play. Now in liquid cooling, there are different types of cooling. There is one immersion cooling, which is one way to, more traditional way to do it. But there is another way where you can also do direct to chip cooling. So this kind of cooling needs a very different kind of infrastructure in traditional data centers. So these kind of implementations have already started in US, in some of the other advanced markets. I think India is now starting to look into it as well at limited scale. But all of these implementations, even in US, the liquid cooling implementations are limited to a few racks or one setup or a one data suite. But we need to take this to a scale. How can you take this to a scale where actually it makes a difference in saving energy costs, using reliable, sustainability and all, bringing in the sustainability aspect and all of that. So we need to solve this problem to implement at scale. We are not there yet with liquid cooling, but we have to get there.
Speaking of sustainability, we hear a lot of positive things about renewable energy and India using solar. I want to pick your mind on the possibility of even trying nuclear. Is that something you have your eyes on? Is that something you're looking at?
I think it's very complex to see. I think data centers themselves, I don't think it would be just from a pure business perspective. I think it's extremely complex and difficult. I can't imagine something like that in an Indian context, especially. Somebody can do it in a limited research kind of an environment, but for commercial scale operations, I think it will be very difficult to build it on site and use that, unless government has, where they implement it and deliver that energy for commercial data centers to use.
But what about other renewable sources? What do you
Other
have your eye
renewable
on?
sources in the Indian context, right? India is big on solar today. Wind is also growing. Other forms of renewable energy is being looked at. But the problem is making this available to the data centers is a problem.
Yeah.
In all the places, even especially in the cities, it's a big problem in the main cities. That is where I'm one of those people. Everywhere I go, in the last 10 years, I've been telling that we need to expand our data center ecosystems to tier 2 and tier 3 cities. We have started our data centers, our journey in a tier 2 city like Amravati in Andhra Pradesh.
Now it's become big.
Yeah, it's big. It's become big, and it's going to even be bigger in the next decade. So I think these are the locations. I mean, if you look at Amravati location, right, where our data center is, you have access to renewable energy. You'll be able to scale. You can do a horizontal build out. Liquid cooling and other things will be far more feasible rather than in larger cities. So I think sustainability is the way to go, no doubt about it. Alternate means of energy, and I think we need to build out another a dozen data center ecosystems. Primarily centered around tier 2 cities, where you have access to renewable energy and where you can do more of a horizontal build out, where land and other things are much more accessible.
And it also helps those parts of the country grow, right? You're contributing to the country's development that way.
Absolutely. See, one of the things, the problem I have is data center, unfortunately, is one industry where I do not see a lot of youth. Today, the average age of probably people working in the data center industry in India is probably 40.
Yeah.
At least. So I think we need to change that. I think we need to bring in young talent. We need to introduce, by the way, this is one of the things I've been contemplating, and I've been working with one of the universities down in Andhra Pradesh, is to introduce a curriculum, data center curriculum in itself, into an engineering college.
Oh, wow.
Because see, what people do not understand is data center is one field where a lot of things come together, like your networking, cybersecurity, cloud, your storage technologies. Then you're talking about you need like electrical engineers,
Yeah.
mechanical engineers, HVAC engineers, civil engineers,
And managers.
and managers, project managers, and you need to implement all of these integration capabilities, AI on top of it.
Yeah.
So you need to, all of these things generate a lot of data. You need computer engineers to implement machine learning models. So it's an extremely complex ecosystem, and I think it's time that the universities implement a specific engineering in data center technologies by in itself. And it can become a full 4-year degree in engineering.
Wow.
And this is something that I'm going to personally take up over the next 3-4 years, and hopefully we can start somewhere in offering this, because our lives are going to be run by data centers.
Way to bridge the skills gap.
And huge. We need people. So,
Perfect.
and by the way, doing this in tier 2, tier 3 cities, all these colleges in tier 2, tier 3 cities, you give
Their youth a chance to be employed where they live instead of migrating
on
to the
latest
cities.
technologies and get opportunity to work on latest technologies. And that's what we do at Pi, by the way. Typically, 80% of our hiring happens from tier 2 colleges.
Wow. So finally, you flew in all the way today to attend Mumbai CDC. What was your experience like? You were on a panel as well today. Tell us about your experience.
I think the ecosystem is very rich. I haven't been here in a couple of years, but I think what I'm happy to see is you have a very rich ecosystem of partners that have come together. I've seen people with liquid technologies, data center integration capabilities, cooling technologies, HVAC, a very good partner ecosystem that I think one can come and educate themselves. I think you have a fantastic speaker lineup. The sessions are good. The subjects that are being discussed are very relevant, and I think for somebody who is starting a journey in this industry, I think it's a fantastic place to be.
Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for those kind words.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.